Hangout is live. So I guess we're live. My computer at least says it's live. So I guess it is. So welcome to this Friday Hangout session. You're on my channel 3DP Iceland, and I have a few guests with me here. And we're gonna start by doing introductions, and I'm gonna start from my right and start with John. So you're up, John.
Hi everyone, mic check, everything good? This is John, Would You Do It? I run a YouTube channel, I have a Twitter and Instagram, so on my YouTube channel you can see who I am now from the chat. On Twitter, I am you_do_it. On Instagram, I'm you.do.it. I do a lot of crap. I build a lot of stuff. I use any technology to build stuff. I am CNC, 3D printing, art, oil paintings, woodworking. I do it all. Except welding. I do want to get into that. I've hosted some of these live streams that you're watching now at F3D-PCH. I'm really humbled that they accepted me as a member, and I look forward to giving back more to the community in the future. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Walter, you're up.
I'm up, am I?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. I'm Walter from Country 3D. This is my wife, Regina, from Country 3D. You can find us on the web everywhere, basically, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's all Country 3D, Kuntry 3D. And I do live shows where I talk to folks. I do live interviews. I 3D print things, and I print 3D printers. So here I am, and humbled to be amongst all these great people. So that's me. If you want to get in touch with me, it's just Kuntry 3D. Anywhere you want to look.
Yeah, thank you. Ryan, you're up. I think Ryan's camera is there you are. It was like frozen for a bit.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm on Ancient Technology, working with Ancient Technology. How's it going, everybody? I'm Geek Tech. I'm fairly easy to find. It's Geek Tech everywhere. Yeah, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whichever. It's not because it's easy, it's because I'm lazy. I do a lot of maker stuff. Currently in the process of building a hypercube on my channel. I do a lot of other random stuff as well, video games, and right now I'm in the process of working on another project for ERRF that I'm going to do with all the maker coins I grabbed. So those videos will be up soon. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And Chris, you're up.
Hey everybody, good night. Chris here. You can find me on Twitter if you want to follow me around at mchrisp1. You can also find me in the team at ERRF 2018. If you want to follow along for ERRF related information, Facebook also at ERRF 2018. I'm a 3D printing enthusiast and apparently now event planner. And that's my story for the night.
Yeah, thank you. And Matt, he's driving, so he's audio only at the moment. So I'm gonna do my introduction and then switch over to Matt. You want to be last? But yeah, I'm Marteinn, and you're on my channel 3DP Iceland, and I can be found here on YouTube and also on Twitter as 3DP Iceland. That's the platforms I use. I'm with my full name, Marteinn Sigurdsson. If you can find out to write that on Facebook, but I really use Twitter and YouTube to spend communications with this hobby. Facebook is more friends and family. But yeah, you're on my channel, so welcome, and I hope to see you all. But I want to give Matt a chance to introduce himself. So I'm switching over to Matt.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt from How I Do It. Sorry, like Martin said, I'm audio tonight. Hopefully everything's coming through clear because I'm talking to you via Bluetooth in the truck. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/howiddoit. On Twitter, I'm at Country Cowboy, and everywhere else it's Matthew Flitchball. Just want to say real quick thanks to Martin for hosting tonight, and most importantly, I'd also like to say thank you to Chris, Vicky, Nick, and Lauren for organizing ERRF this year. It was, in my eyes, it was a huge success, and I was absolutely honored to be there, and even more greatly honored that the four of them sponsored the Friday night community hangout to have a sponsorship booth at ERRF and allow us a place to assemble the community bill, which also a thank you to everyone who contributed to the bill and printed out parts. When I get home, I will have my list in front of me of who won the contest and the giveaways that we did. I do know off the top of my head, John Mack had the most printed parts. Jim Franks had the heaviest part. Martin got the most creative part out of all of them, voted on by the host and co-host that were present at ERRF. I know Josh Ajima, sorry Josh, won the Protopasta $50 store credit that was given away to the attendees at ERRF. And the other Tinkers from Protopasta, Keith, won one of the Matter Hackers Pro PLA schools. The other two names are escaping me at the moment because I don't have stuff in front of me. But I would also like to say thank you to the sponsors. We had Printed Solid sponsored 2 rolls of their daily PLA, their house brand. Protopasta sponsored 3 $50 in-store credits for their online store to purchase anything off their store. And Matter Hackers sponsored 3 rolls of the Matter Hackers Pro PLA. Sorry about the noise, I'm driving down the highway. And of course, also we had Martin gave away 6 of his landscapes. And those things were absolutely massive. They were printed on the CR10. I'm assuming diagonally, Martin, because they pretty much like maxed out what you could do on the CR10. Yeah. And they printed diagonal. I figured because I knew you did that on the Versa. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone who contributed in one way or another. Thank you to Martin for helping put the logo together and organizing it. Arranging all the pieces for me as I was going along gluing it. That was a tremendous help, and I owe a huge debt of gratitude to you, Martin, for helping out with that. So I'm going to quit yapping and quit interrupting the stream with a bunch of noise from driving down the road and let these guys get to it. And I'll hopefully be joining in more here in about half an hour.
Yeah, thank you, Matt, for your part. Yeah, so I really want to start this stream by saying it was totally awesome for me to visit this event, and it was like meeting all friends and family almost, because I've been talking to you guys over the streams and on Twitter and on your channel's streams, meeting up with everybody. That was absolutely the highlight for me to meet everyone. And I laid on my table here some, but most of the swag I got. So my table is absolutely full of stuff I got, and maker coins and stickers, and it was absolutely awesome to get to meet everyone and see what they were doing. And for quite some time seen on other people's printer setups all the stickers people have, and always wondered if people were sending all the stickers by mail or what was the deal. But apparently those shows like ERRF and MRF are the place to get stickers and maker coins. So I was really happy to get the chance to meet all of you, and I was quite amazed of how many people that I have never seen before recognized me. So that was a very, very good experience for me. So my first round of talks was mainly for your own personal perspective, how it was for you to go to ERRF, and what was the most exciting part. So I would like just to go another round of some moments for each one of you to tell me a little bit about your experiences. So you can tell me just like from a personal perspective, and then later we will talk about Chris as he's a organizer of the event, and how it was for him and the team to plan everything out. And it will be interesting to see and listen to his side of things as an event planner. So, but I want to start out with a personal experience. So, John, if I would start with you.
Well, I was overwhelmed. You know, there was a lot of people in that space. I liked the way it was laid out. A lot of room, plenty of room between tables, and getting around. So there was no complaints there at all. The thing that I liked the most was James's arcade cabinet. You know, we all watched him make that thing, and to see it in front of me, I'm like, yeah, okay, that inspires me to want to build that. The other thing that I really liked, and I really appreciate the gift from you, was the 3D printed part of Skaftevel. I think that's how you say it.
Pretty close. Pretty close. Skaftevel.
Pretty close for an Irish Italian. Yeah, so that was awesome. And then getting everybody's swag and everything, and seeing Chris Riley there, and you know, Fun King, and seeing family members, and getting to do the interviews, and that the last part, the photo, the group photo was awesome. You know, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. There's plenty of events that I've been to where the photo op occurred and I wasn't anywhere near it, and no chance to get there. So I was fortunate this time. I have a bunch of footage I have to edit. I got, I think, 12 hours worth of footage, and that includes the speeches that I recorded. So Saturday's speeches should sound perfectly, and Sundays maybe not so. It's just the audio from the GoPro. And then I gave a talk as well. I was pretty happy with it, and I asked Nick to do a post-mortem of it, and he gave me some kind words. So it was a good event. Looking forward to the next one, as long as it doesn't interfere with VidCon, because I want to go to VidCon next year. And I'm done. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. It was great. Walter, how was your personal experience?
Well, I mean, mine and Regina's was separate. I mean, she's got her own experiences, because, you know, this was her second event. She went to MRF with me as well, but this time she actually knew what most people were talking about when they were talking about 3D printers, because before she didn't. But some of my memorable moments, really and truthfully, Martin, were getting to the house, you know, and James arriving, and then you came in, you know, Friday, you came over to the house before, you know, or, you know, you came over before time to go on morning coffee. We're all sitting around the table. That's just awesome to me. And then, you know, having people while I'm live streaming, they hopped in for hosting and stuff like that. But then going around and seeing everything that everybody does, because you know, you see it on Twitter, you see pictures. Like, I've seen many pictures of your landscapes, but to see them in person, they're so much better in person than they are even in pictures, you know. And then getting to meet all the guys that, because I was new to YouTube at Murph. You know, it was brand new to me. And since then, you know, a few guys have joined my channel, and they were awesome. It was awesome to put faces with the names that I see all the time, you know. And that was my experience, was just the camaraderie and the helping. You know, it's like Ryan's Core XY, or I think they had another printer there that wasn't printing. By the time they left, they had at least one printing printer. So, you know, it was just people helping people over and over and over again. And I would like to thank Chris and Lauren and Vicky and for Nick and all those guys for putting on ERRF. It was a great event. Especially the room, so much better than Murph, because, well, Murph had more people, but it was also a smaller venue, and it was so much more packed and harder to walk around. It was great to meet everybody there, and you learn new things. You know, it wasn't that long after Murph, so there wasn't a whole lot of life bending changes, but the things that I didn't get to see at Murph, or didn't get to spend time on, I actually got to see and spend time on this time. I don't know if my wife has anything to add to that. She's gonna frown as I shake her head. No, she ain't talking.
I just keep
but
the chat.
It's she kept up with the chat. I'm gonna tell you right now, while we were walking around, you know, I was live streaming the whole time. The whole time she's behind me going, "Hey, Robbie Mac said this," or "Red Light said this," or something, you know, and then I'd get back to the camera. She's like, "Don't forget to tell them this," or whatever. So she kept up with that the whole time while I was walking around and shooting my mouth off, because y'all know I can do that. So anyway, that's my experience. It was fantastic, and I can't wait until we all get together again. I absolutely can't wait.
Yeah, it was awesome. At one time, I noticed John Mack, he was watching your channel on his tablet in front of your camera, so it was like a Inception video with him watching the channel on your channel. So that was quite funny. But Ryan, what was your thing that you thought most interesting, and how was the venue for you for the event?
First off, I mean, I'm just gonna say I had a hell of a time. I mean, it was a blast. I mean, luckily enough, I mean, I had the benefit of having my wife there with me, kind of like Walter's wife was there with him. And if it wasn't for my wife, I don't think I would have gotten anything done or had time to see anything, because I was so excited and I was running around crazy trying to get things to work and still trying to be able to see things that were there. My wife was like, "All right, calm down, relax and breathe. It's going to be here in the next 20 minutes, I promise. Just chill." And she would leave me around. And then when I was stuck looking at stuff or working on things, she would take off and run and go look at different event stuff. And she took massively more pictures than I did. I never had enough common sense to take my camera with me to actually get pictures done. I saw such amazing things. And it's really nice to actually talk to people in the industry face to face on kind of what's going on. And I mean, like Murph, ERRF is exactly the same. Yes, it was smaller, but I mean, you have to take into consideration this was the first event. This was the first ERRF, and for the numbers that showed up for it being a first event, that wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I think it was a great success, and I had a hell of a time. And I loved meeting everybody there that I met, and it blew my mind being there. Right as soon as we walked into the door, I hadn't set anything up. I hadn't even checked in yet, and somebody came up to me out of nowhere. "Geek Tech, hey, how's it going?" And my wife said I was cheesing for the next 2 hours because somebody recognized me that either saw me on here or saw me on my channel. That blew my mind because it's never happened to me before. I'm done geeking out. Y'all can go ahead.
Yeah. I had that with one guy that came up to me. He told me he was my secret fan. He had never like shouted out on Twitter or anything, but he loved my landscapes, and it talked to him a lot, and he was one of the lucky winners by pure chance. He won one of my landscapes, so that was awesome to give like a fan had the opportunity to win my landscapes. But Chris, before we go on the event planning and all those like business side of things. I want to hear your personal experience during the event. Like you were super busy running around, and did you get to see everything? And how was it for you personally?
You know, for me personally, it was really cool. I had a whole bunch of people that I know and I'm buddies with come here to where I am, and then there's a whole bunch of people that I didn't know that also came here. And I could have used another day probably to do rounds and get time in front of things more than a minute or two at a time. Everything was pretty quick as we were moving around. Lauren made a good point. Next year we have to make sure that we schedule some downtime for all of us, because we were all just kind of going around and doing things. So we go ahead and take care of that. But it was cool. It was a lot to see, a lot to take in. And to me, I think one of the coolest things was, I thought we had 7, but we actually had 8 3D printer manufacturers in the house. We had M3D, we had PrinterBot, G-Create, Prusa, Robo, Folger. I made 3D, so that's the 7. And then the 8th, a little bit of a surprise, and Budman Industries rolling out their Bildini. And you could talk to the president of, or the top dog of several of these companies. And to me, that's kind of unique. That's kind of neat to be able to walk up to Brooke or Braden or Gordon and Anna and have those talks that people want to talk, or John Folger, who's never done one of these events before. So to me, that's the neat side, getting to meet those people. And I think that's what, the common thread I hear and what people say, it's the people experience that's best. And, who better to either complain about your printer or talk about what you love about your printer than, the person who's responsible for your printer. If one of those people are at Braden or John or Anna or Gordon or whoever.
Yeah, it was awesome to see how many like top level people were from those companies. You could get to the topmost people if you had some questions, and if you want to ask about the company, insight into what they were doing and such. Matt, are you still there? Do you want to talk a little bit about your personal experience?
Yeah, so ERRF was, I still haven't quite come off the whole adrenaline rush from ERRF. I mean, my body definitely has. Monday going back to work was really rough. I think it was for all of us. I mean, you either went to work with a scratchy voice, no voice, or just wishing you'd have taken off on Monday. Chris, I think you had the best idea to take a few days off after that. The whole weekend was awesome. I mean, Friday it started out with the first place we went when we got down there was we drove into the arena to see where we were going, so we knew where we were at, and then turned around and a bunch of us, I think it was probably 14 or 15 of us, got together at the Chaps Pit Beef restaurant in Annapolis, or not Annapolis, I'm sorry, in Bel Air. And I was standing talking to Chris from Neary's from Today's 3D Print and trying to sort out, as soon as I walked in and he saw my shirt, he goes, "Oh no." He said, "I saw your shirt and I realized I left the parts for the logo in Philadelphia at his house, or outside of Philadelphia." And so the first thing we did was, I put a tweet out and somebody answered that message within about 5 minutes of me putting it out saying, hey, is anybody coming by Philadelphia who can jump off of 95 and meet somebody to pick up these parts? Took 5 minutes, and one of the guys from the community responded, said, I'm going to be coming through there at between 9 and 9:30. I can pick them up. And that alone set the tone for the weekend. I mean, it's about 3D printing, but really, if you ask me, ERRF is about the community. It was about the community, and we just all happened to talk 3D printing. That initial response and somebody picking up parts from a stranger was awesome. Well, we got that organized, and about that time, a group of the YouTubers, Walter and his wife included, and Martin and Kat, all walked in, and Martin said hi to me, and I turned around and I said hi quick because I was still talking to Chris, and I realized it was Martin, and I'm standing on a platform about 8 inches higher than everybody else, and I still had to look up at Martin. Seeing Martin was definitely a highlight. I mean, you know, I was fully honest. I was jealous of Chris when he got to go to Iceland and meet Martin. I mean, we've gotten to talk to Martin on the streams and on Twitter countless times, but getting to actually meet him in person was, again, set the tone for the weekend. But we all sat down, we enjoyed lunch, and then once lunch was over, I mean, we sat there, we all got there around like 1:30, and we all sat there till about 3:30, and turned around then and headed over to the arena to start setting up on Friday. And the whole time, man, it was just everybody was talking and having fun, carrying on. And then Saturday rolled around and we started putting that logo together. And I have to say, I mean, I think it's kind of a given for me to say the logo was my favorite part of ERRF, was getting to put together that logo and getting to talk to people while I was putting the logo together, the people that attended ERRF. As just attendees walking in the door, telling people about what it is that we do every other Friday night. That was awesome. Going to the after parties. I mean, the entire weekend was my favorite thing. That's why I say when I've thanked Chris and Vicky and Nick and Lauren so many times since Friday. And you know what? I still can't thank them enough. Next year, I hope it's bigger. I hope there's more of us there. And everybody says we're doing the post-mortem on ERRF. It's not the post-mortem. ERRF's coming back next year, and I can't wait personally.
Yeah, it truly was an awesome event, and it was great meeting you. And like I said in the beginning, when I met you, all guys, it was like I have known you guys for all my life almost. It was amazing. So it was really great for me.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Yeah.
So Ali, Potent Printables, he was the one that was saying it was me who grabbed the parts. He was the one who took the drive over. That's it.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, now since we're gone over that round, I want to ask Chris, as the event planner, like how long ago did you get this idea to create this event, and what were the initial thoughts and plans for the event? What were you going for, and what was the main drive to create this event? If you can talk about like the beginning of how it came to life.
Yeah. So Murph 2017 was my first 3D printing event. Matt had printed solid. had asked me to go along. I had been going. I found him. His store is about 45 minutes to the north of me, right up in Delaware. I realized I had bought stuff from him, not realizing that he was right there up the road from me. Started going to some of his Sunday morning hangouts. He usually does a monthly hangout. I've seen John in there, John Pickens in the room. You've been to a couple. I'm not sure who else is in the room. I know Graybeard has been to at least a couple. But we get together up there, and before Murph 2017 happened, Matt said, "Hey, why don't you come? I'd like you to help me out with the booth. It'll probably be a lot of fun for you. You'll see a bunch of 3D printing stuff, more of it one space than you can imagine." So we went. I worked with him on the weekend with that. On the ride back from Murph, a couple of us in the car, and we realized, man, there's a whole bunch of people here on the East Coast. Lots and lots of people on the East Coast, millions upon millions, many more than are out there at Goshen. Why couldn't we do an East Coast version of this? And I think the first call, Matt put together a call, and I don't know, Lauren, that first call, maybe it was like 8, 9 different people. And then there was another call, and some people dropped off. And I guess after a handful of calls, it was me, Lauren, Nick, and Vicky. And we had come to an agreement on what it is we thought we were going to do, what we thought should be in an event, what would be nice to be able to do. Realized there were some things we had to do, like stand up a business to support it, have a bank account, insurance, and then, figure out places to do it. We looked at places, a bunch of different places around, my neck of the woods in Maryland. Looked at a place in Delaware, looked at a place in Ocean City, Maryland. It would have been literally right on the eastern shore. But came back to APG FCU Arena after they said, "Hey, we really like what you're doing. We think this is cool. We've never seen anything like it, and we'd really like your event to be here." And they were very easy to work with. Pricing worked out. The team, we continued to meet and figure out what we were going to do. And at one point, we were looking at doing a 17 event. And we realized the 17 event just couldn't happen. So we put everything going forward into an 18 event. We figured out, I guess it was last August, we picked the days of June 22nd, 23rd, 24th for the event, because Nick and I went to New York Maker Faire with some T-shirts and a bunch of business cards and handed those out to folks to launch the event at New York Maker Faire last year, and just rolled everything forward from that. Had a PowerPoint deck that we shared with our sponsors that we wanted to work with us, to have them have faith in us and give us money to throw this event and pull it together. Some days that was a little tough, like any quote unquote sales job can be. You get told no sometimes a lot, and you just kind of have to figure out how to keep relevant and how to keep that conversation going. And I'm trying to think, and it's a lot of believing. The four of us, we've Lauren, Nick, Vicky, and I, we've talked many hours. We've chatted in text many hours more. Lots of moving pieces, lots of different abilities and skills to pull together a show like this. And I couldn't have worked with a better team. I think we did a pretty darn good job. It wasn't perfect, but at the end of the day, I think what we were shooting for was truly a community event, an event where people come together, where people talk. You can see things, you can touch things, you make those connections, you learn some things along the way. Have a good time and get back home safe. And I think based on everything that we've heard from different folks, I think we got there. There are things that we can probably work on and make better. But I was talking with the folks in the room here earlier before the call, and I said, and Lauren, I'm looking in the chat if you're still in there, but I don't think we got yelled at by anybody for anything. I don't think we had anybody fly off the handle about, anything at all. And, when you're dealing with, about 750 people in one spot for that long over a time period. Okay, good. Lauren says we didn't. So, woot woot. I was expecting somewhere along the way somebody was going to tear into us for something. That's just dealing with, large numbers of people in the public, not necessarily somebody from the community, but somebody from, wherever, and they heard, one of the advertisements on the radio and decided to swing in. But it went really well. So I'm happy. I finally feel well rested. I'll be honest, I feel a little lonely in Harford County. There's a whole bunch of people that I wish were still here. But I think we did all right. I definitely want to hear, from everybody, what could have been better, what could have been different. I've heard people coming up with some ideas for next year. I do want to say real quick, thank you to, definitely the sponsors, to all of our exhibitors. I've forgotten to point out also thank you to all of our volunteers, the folks that helped us at the front door and the back door, taking tickets, getting people in. John, a big thanks to you for getting all the talks recorded and all the editing and slicing and dicing you're going to do. People are frothing at the mouth for those videos, from what I heard, not to put any pressure on you, brother. You don't have to cry. But there you go. But and thanks to the overall community. I think we stuck our necks out there a little bit, the four of us. I think it was well worth it. And the good news is we know there's going to be a 2019. So we just have to work through some stuff, figure out some timing, try to understand the lay of the land of some of the other events. Maybe not have other bigger entities drop their events on our dates after we have it established. But that's the plan. We're gonna do ERRF 2019, and as soon as we can start sharing details, we will start sharing. Yeah, Paul, I see your comment. The APGFCU staff, they were really nice. They didn't know what to expect. And hey, here's a real funny story. So, exhibitors, you got a letter, an email, and it had kind of like it's the APGFCU staff letter. And in that letter, it kind of just tells you the lay of the land, what, some of the general rules. And one of the university's rules, or I keep calling it university, the college's rules is no weapons. And that Friday night, I'm talking with the one girl, Sheila, and she's like, hey, somebody brought up, and she's like, I know this is a long shot and it's not a concern, but we understand that people can print guns with these 3D printers. nobody would be trying to print a gun here or anything like that, would they? And I said, well, look, that's a federal offense. That's a felony. I said, you know, there's a possibility that somebody who walks through the doors this weekend might play with that on the side in the dark in the wee hours in their mad scientist lab. I said, but I'm pretty sure everybody's smart enough not to do that at an event like this. And she's like, well, okay, but not even a functional gun, like, you know, toy guns and knives and weapons and stuff like that. And I started going, oh, and you know, I'm having an oh poop moment. This isn't good. This is going down the wrong path. I'm waiting for Michael to walk through the door with a 10-foot long two-handed broadsword or something like that. And then Shlom, I was thinking about you guys too, because I know you guys are a sword printing factory down there. And I'm really starting to sweat, and I'm a little worried. And I'm like, well, look, I got to tell you right now, one of the guys that's going to be in the big 10x30, he's bringing in a collection of plastic swords that's going to boggle your mind. You've never seen anything like it unless you read comic books and watch, you know, fantasy movies. I said, this is it. I said, so yeah, there's going to be some stuff like that here this weekend. And she's like, oh. And she didn't say anything, and she's like, well, I guess we'll see. And that was the last I heard of it, thank the Lord.
Yeah, you really can see all kind of weaponry and, and swords like this piece here I got from Solm's table, and it's all for good fun. And the midnight giant weaponry stash, like a medieval castle. That was awesome to see all that. And also Amy Double D, she had SLA prints of all her cosplay weapons. So that was awesome designs. They were like tiny pieces, but really good looking. So there was a lot of weaponry, if you could call it that. But I don't think anyone had any intent of doing anything except showing it off. So people get worried about too much, I think. But yeah, that was awesome. And I want to thank all the volunteers, like you mentioned. There was a group of people helping out on the doors and everything in the venue for me to come there as a attendee. It was really professionally set up, and there was no hiccups in anything. You could walk around and talk to people and ask questions, and everybody was really helpful, and that was obviously the main. It was like a scent in the air. Everybody was there to have a good time and tell about their projects and share and have fun and make a good memory of this event. And that was obviously showing through, because everybody was happy. There was no drama at the event or any kind of issues happening that I noticed of. So everything went really smooth. And so yeah, so I want to maybe have an open mic. I didn't have any like a list of questions to go through, but I want to get.
I forgot something.
Yeah.
So I keep telling Sherry, my wife, you know, that I'm live streaming with my friends. I'm gonna have a chat with my friends. My friends just joined in, and she's like, "They aren't your friends. These are online people. You don't know these people." And I'll tell you, like you said, Martin, I get there, and it's like we're doing bro hugs. I mean, you know, it's like we knew each other forever, and it's just it was a great event from that viewpoint. I mean, I get, you know, like Walter. I got to see Walter and Regina. You know, Draco. You know, I get to see all these people that I consider my friends, and so that's really the main thing that I really appreciated about the event.
Yeah, definitely. Like I met Matt, and when I started out with the Friday Hangout streams, I started to talk to Matt, and he helped me out getting started with the Hangouts, and I had seen Dixie, his daughter, on her video on Take a Card, and she gave me a gift when I met her up. She designed this in Fusion 360 and gave it to me, and meeting her and Jen and Matt, it was like just meeting up with old family friends. It was amazing how welcoming everything was, and like meeting Walter. I've been on his streams like for most days during his morning coffee streams, and meeting all the crowd at like Red Light and Sholm and John Mack and all the usual suspects of the country club. That was amazing, and meeting James, and I could go on with names for a long time. It was absolutely awesome to meet you all. Yeah, now we see a video of Matt with a Hangout logo.
So I'm sitting a little too close to it, but logo. Let me jump up so I can show it a little bit better. And lighting's not the best. I just put it there. So there's the community logo that everybody helped out putting together.
So just the lighting, you're a little fuzzy, bud.
Yeah, I think your quality might be. Like
yeah, the video was like all pixelate, so it was like a bad signal.
I'll make it better here in a minute. I'm getting my laptop fired up right now so I can join in.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll show it in a minute.
Yep.
Hey, Martin.
Yeah.
One of the great things, like, you know, I set up to do live streaming. That was my intent the entire time, was to live stream the entire thing. I was actually going to sit at my computer and do it the entire time. And one of the cool things is John came over there and he goes, "Hey, you want another camera?" I didn't know if my laptop was handle another camera, so I didn't even bring one. And he gave me a 922 that I could point in the other direction. And I put a "You're live" sign on it. So when people walk by, they're like, "Oh, I'm live." And just going back, I watched some of that and saw some of their reactions and them pull away from the camera when they figured out they were live on YouTube. It was so fun. But just for John to come over and say, hey, here, I've got a 922 you can use, and let me use it all weekend. I mean, until I stopped streaming Sunday afternoon, I used his camera facing out towards the crowd, and it was so cool. It really so cool. And I will tell you that everybody that watched on the country club, the comments were, "Thank you, John." They did appreciate that because they enjoyed that stream immensely.
Well, you know, it's like this thing. You know, we're all friends, so I'm going to do whatever I can to help you guys, and it's just natural, right? So it worked out.
Well, that's exactly right, and you know, and that's when I talked to the guys at Slice Engineering, who I am interviewing this coming Monday, by the way, live on my channel. I talked to them there, and I was like, "Dude, you're from Florida. You're a startup. I'm going to promote you. I'm going to help you in every way I can to be successful." And he's like, "Well, you know, we don't really have, you know, testers and stuff." I said, "Dude, I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything. I want you to succeed. Go be successful. That's what I want." You know, and that's what's cool about this community is everybody tries to build everybody up. It's not a tear down business, you know.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious to me to come to see how everybody was supporting each other, both the sponsors and the exhibitors and the people coming and talking. Everybody was sharing ideas and helping out. And I noticed, like James with Printer Play, he went on some tables to help somebody fix a printer problem, and that was happening all over the place. Everybody was helping out and getting information. It was truly a community event, like you said earlier. It was all about community, and that was, for me, it was a good experience to see how positive a community have been. I have several hobbies throughout my days, and this is definitely the most tight community in a hobby I ever experienced. And going over there and meet you guys, and I really have to thank Chris and everyone putting this event together. I saw the Murph photos and tweets and videos, and I was like, damn, I have to wait a year to go to Murph because I didn't go to Murph this year. But then ERRF came around, and I was just, I have to go there. I have to go there. So I got a ticket and booked a flight and took care of everything. And then when we were closing to the event, Chris Neris, he was asking where people are staying, and I told him where I was staying, and I had a chance to get like a double room with two separate bedrooms, and I talked to him about sharing the hotel room to save money, and that worked out, and that saved me quite a lot of money. And then I met up with Kat and found out she was flying in from Baltimore Airport just 1 hour after I landed. So I waited for her, and we used the same rental car and shared the expense on the rental car throughout the weekend, and everything was working like this. Everybody was helping everyone out, and it was awesome. So I was really happy how everything went, and like how the community is working.
Yeah, I'll say there were a couple of folks that I talked to online before the event. There was one guy on the back corner, actually, in the same row that my printers were set up, but on the opposite corner. He had two printers. I think one of them was an older printer bot, and another one was maybe it was an A8. And he was having problems with the one, and I said, and he's friends with the guy I work with. And I knew he had the printers, and I told my buddy, I said, you need to have your buddy come to the event. And he's like, well, he doesn't know what to do. I said, well, just tell him to bring his printer. Tell him to bring his big prints, whatever project he's working on. I knew he was allegedly working on a couple of droids. I said, just have him bring whatever he has done and set it up at the table. And if the printer's not working, set it up at the table and say, hey, I need help. And by the end of Saturday, that printer was working. Somebody sat down with him, or he had enough people walk by to get it up and running. And another one was the girl Nikki. I can't remember her Twitter handle, but she had that printer. It was kind of in the middle of the floor, and it was brown wood with it was like a light wood, dark wood stain process. In like a custom built wooden enclosure. And before the event, she said that wasn't working right either. I said, well, just bring it into the event and set it up, and again, talk with people. And I don't know what the final status is. I did see a print on it, but she said she was really happy she came out because of all the conversations that she got into. I think
I'm going to jump on top of you real fast. That person you talked to on Twitter who was talking about the busted printer, that was me.
Did you bring it? Did he get it working?
That was indeed me. And what was really funny is I set the printer up and I plugged it in Friday night when we got there at like 4:30. And James from Print and Play had looked at me and goes, so what are you printing? I was like, well, this one isn't finished yet. I've got some stuff I've got to do on it. My other one's completely busted. I've never been able to get it to work, and I don't know what's wrong with it. And he was like, well, I could probably fix it. I mean, I'll take a look at it. I was like, man, I've tried everything. I cannot get it to work. And he looked at me, goes, all right, challenge accepted. And we brought him a chair around, and within an hour, he had the thing moving correctly, and we had printed out a calibration cube Friday night that finished just before we left. It printed all weekend. But yeah, I was the one that you were talking to on Twitter with the busted printer, bringing it up there with a note.
Well, you weren't the only one. There was more than you, but I didn't put that. I didn't connect that together. That we definitely had that conversation. I recall now. I do. But no, that and to me, that's what these events are about. The experience that I had out there at Murph, there's, as they say, there's something special in the air. I think that was you, John, that said something like that before. it is. It's a unique feel, and you know, I've been part of different things over the years, but how this community acts, comes together, works together, really, you know, watches each other's backs. This community is different than other communities I've been around, and it's definitely special. It's really cool, and I'm just glad we had the opportunity to do something cool, and hope it will continue for many years to come.
Yeah, definitely. It went so well, and I didn't find any, like on Saturday I was helping out Matt doing the build, and for the remaining of Saturday I was mostly talking to people coming to the Friday Hangout booth, and where I had my paintings, and everybody was so excited about what was happening, and I all the time. I didn't find anyone that was complaining about, oh, we can't do this, or this is not for us, or there was, everybody was so happy visiting, and I'm talking about the attendees that were coming in with the white signs, or these things. so I think for the attendees coming in for the show, it was a good event for everybody, and so much things to see, and like all the projects people were doing, and so many like custom printers, and the printed printers with Walter standing it out, and now John Mack had 2 AM8 like printers printed out, and there was some fully printed printer, almost the lead screws were even printed. It was like a bridge, like a Tower Bridge of London. The printer looking, this rather cool device, and yeah, there was a lot of cool projects, and everybody was so happy from what I could see.
So here's some fun with numbers, right? Everybody likes a little bit of trivia. So who wants to take a guess? And I'm watching in the room. How many countries we know were represented at ERRF? And Martin, this is where you're supposed to have that Jeopardy theme music queued up, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, are you talking about like people that were just there, or people that had booths, or both?
People with a name country in their name.
People that were there from foreign country.
Yeah,
with country in their name, that would be 2.
yeah. People are guessing like
no,
8 and 5.
The other country, COUNTRY.
Yeah. Oh, the correctly spelled one, not the redneck one.
Yeah, I could believe 7 to 12 would be my guess, but
you have to be very specific.
Well,
okay, 9 is my number.
Your first number was much better, Martin. It was 7. That was the first time I heard it. So we had Canada, China, Germany, Iceland, Liechtenstein, United Kingdom, and of course the United States. And then speaking about the United States, we've got 50 of them. How many of the 50 states do you feel were represented at ERRF?
42.
How about in the room?
51.
Yeah. Oh, come on, John.
Yeah. 32.
We got 50. We got 50% of the states. 25.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had California, And here, because we realized that somehow we missed one or two and ended at 25. So if anybody thinks we missed you after I give you this list, let me know. California, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, we got you country, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Missouri, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Texas, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin, West Virginia, and Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so there were not only people from the East Coast, it was like all over the states.
Yeah, a little bit. So anybody in the chat, did we miss your state? Mars.
Yeah, John Pickers, he guessed 25. What did you win? Delaware is the real state. Yeah, it was all kind of people coming in, and one person that was really nice for me to talk to. That was a lady that one of my landscapes, and she was working as a professional map making cartographer, or that's the name of it. And we talked for a very long time about map making, and there were all kind of people in regard of their professional work coming together to talk about their hobby of 3D printing. So that was cool. Yeah. Did you get that, Chris, with Jeff Slater's? His wife was from Panama. You can add that.
No, okay. I can add that. That's one more country. We'll take it. It's good for.
Who was that, Martin?
Jeff Slater. Yeah, he won a landscape. That's right. Yeah, he was one of the winners.
So were you following the chat? I didn't hear if you mentioned Alaska, because Dave thinks he said he saw somebody from Alaska. Sticker,
I did
maybe?
not.
So you
I
don't
did
have
not
anything
have
officially.
Alaska. Nope.
So we just need confirmation on that. But
Hey guys, how's
that'd be awesome. A little higher, probably 6 dB higher.
How's that?
Yeah, a little low volume on you, Matt.
I'll get it sorted out. Go ahead.
Yeah, Matt is saying there was someone from Alaska.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say Matt and Ali is saying it. All right, so we will add Alaska to the list.
Yeah. Yeah, you can say it was a truly international event with all those countries.
Well, I say between you and Kat, you two hooked us up with that pretty early, Martin. So
yeah, yeah.
You two and Mosaic, because Mosaic was one of our early sponsors. So yeah, absolutely.
Shane with Future Tech, wasn't he from the UK? Do you know?
No, I don't think Shane is from. I think he's from the States. I think he recently might have taken a job or something that moved him. I didn't realize that, but yeah, he had said at the beginning of one of his videos he was back in the States. So I don't know exactly what happened with that.
Yeah. He has this mega coin. Yeah. Left that on the table.
There we go. Is that any better on my audio?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I don't know how that got turned down. It must have got turned down at ERRF. Yeah, Shane's employment takes him different places, he was telling me. he's actually getting ready to move again. He's not in the States, but he's from the States. He works for the government in one way or another that moves him around.
He's like a secret agent.
There's a song that, right?
So is my picture better now? Now you guys can see the logo, even though it's not very well lit at the moment.
No, it looks fine.
Yeah, I'll lock the image on you. Yeah, it's cool. I see my tile, so I'm happy.
You won that, right?
Yeah, I won the tile on
So there's the
for the most awesome tile.
Who got failed print?
John Mack. Or no, I'm sorry.
Pooch.
Pooch.
Oh, because the mirrored?
Yeah, no, actually, so he had one that was a clump on his extruder, and it was entry number 2. So the way we did that voting, we each part got a number on it, and they were left on the table, so people weren't allowed to pick them up. I think occasionally people might have picked them up, but I was kind of distracted. So we had 1 through 7, I believe, and the two participants that we had in that contest was Pooch and John Mack. So rep cords looked like a little glow turd, and we labeled it as number 2. Number 2 won.
Yeah, we have Joe Mike joining in. So Joe,
Hey, Joe.
if you want to do just short intro as you're joining in.
I'm not sure if I've got a mic yet here.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
I'm fine, brother.
Yeah, for some reason the headset mic isn't working, which doesn't make sense because it's a headset. Hi, I'm Joe. How are you? I wasn't at ERRF, but I figured, hey, it's been forever since I've actually gotten to talk to you guys on here without just being able to stop in, so I wanted to come in and talk. My name is Joe Mike. I have a channel by the same name. Twitter's Mojike. That's all I got. Oh, and I set up my maker crap. My new studio space is finally set up.
Oh, it's looking nice.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
it's cool. I saw the picture. It looks nice.
Yeah, Marteinn, I got your the 3D printed landscape that you sent me is up behind there, and then your maker coin is up at the top. And I got the How I Do It sticker from Murph, and none of the rest of you gave me any of your crap, so it's not there.
Yeah, cool. I saw my logo there also. That's cool.
Yeah, your sticker's up.
Yeah, cool.
You're
Awesome.
well represented on my wall.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah, I see Walter has gone AWOL and Regina is manning the booth, so she can take over. And then it go.
What?
Yeah, I was just saying you weren't present on your stream, so Regina could take over your channel.
Yeah, I told her if y'all ask me anything to go ahead and to jump in and answer. I've been running back and forth. I've got that printed hypercube in there. I'm still trying to get it leveled out.
Yeah, cool. You got the sensor working.
Yeah, the sensor's working, and I just did a perfect print. I mean, it was perfect. And then I went and started another print, and it's printing too high in the air again. This whole duet thing is new to me, so.
Yeah.
Joe Mike. So,
yeah.
You rang.
Yeah, so Sherry's watching the stream and she's like, see how nice his studio is? You need to do that to yours too.
You just need a reminder that this was flip, man. This was a year in the making. Like, I think I sent pictures every now and then on Twitter of like my entire space. The intent of this basement was to conquer and divide. Have a section with a computer for editing, have a section for making, so electronics, bench, and anything else I need for actual projects I'm working on. And then the studio space, and to have it all nice and organized and clean. and that didn't happen until a year at this house. So it just took me finally like stepping on enough things, stubbing my toes enough times, and my mother-in-law coming down enough times for me to finally clean it up.
Sherry watches the show Hoarders, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm like totally disturbed as she watches the show, but at the same time, I'm like kind of reflecting upon it. If you look on the other side of my room, I got stuff all over the place. I tripped it like a month ago, and I'm like, that's it. And I cleaned the whole room. I'm like, I don't want this. So yeah, I got a whole idea that I'm gonna do, like make this look like a Death Star studio, but it's just gonna take some time, and I got to get time. So, yeah.
Yes. So, Joe Mike, did you have a chance to follow up on tweets and the live streams that were happening from Earth?
I did.
Yes. Yeah, and Matt was having a live stream, and Walter was having a live stream, and probably some other people as well.
They were the two main live streams that I saw on Saturday were Walter's and Matt's. And I had actually both of them up on my screen, and that's when I actually started to begin cleaning this basement, was when you all were at ERRF, and I was like, well, if they're gonna be productive, so am I. So yeah, I had y'all up on the screen, and while I was doing my stuff in here, and I had the volume up on both streams just loud enough to where I could kind of discern which stream was which. And it was really funny because Matt and Walter were so close to each other as far as booths that I could see stuff go in one stream and then out and then into the other stream. And then it was like when Fun King, when Glenn did his printer giveaway, it was like, someone tilt the camera. You both are right there. Just tilt the camera. And yeah, Walter, like watching him just like run around the table and leave Regina just sitting there like this. It was just it was really fun. Again, I'm really super bummed that I didn't make it out there, but from what it looked like it was a great success, and that, you know, I feel like, given the volume that we're I can't talk. Gosh darn it. This is what happens when I clean. Given the success of this year, I hope that, you know, they push through and do next year, and then Murph and ERRF, and maybe we get a WERF, you know, West Coast. We'll see. And then I can just travel the country.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe on that note, Chris, I want to ask you for next year, and you probably talked about things that you might need to change or challenges for based on your experience. What do we expect to see next year?
I had a list somewhere. You know, again, I don't think there's anything major, groundbreaking that I think at this point we're planning to do differently. It's all mainly, you know, some tweaks, minor adjustments, maybe work on layouts. We know we actually sold out of sponsor booths, you know, like 2 weeks beforehand. I wish it would have happened a little bit sooner. I might have kept a couple of these from going gray or falling out. But we know we're going to need to make some more room for sponsors next year. So we've been, you know, we've talked about that and just changing things and the processes that we did and operated between the four of us. Lauren, are you still out there? I don't have that.
Yes, she had to pick up Nick, so she left.
Hold on, is that the list? Here's the list.
She's going to pick up her kid.
So appropriate. So, you know, one of the things came up, you know, that we'd like to try to do because we thought this was cool. come up with a way, and Matt, I think this might have something to do from you actually, come up with a way to for folks to be able to attach a simple 3D printed name type thing on their name tag. There are a couple of people I think that did that. Matt, I think you might have been part of that suggestion. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure.
I kind of walked into a conversation about it, and actually, I've been thinking about that this week, and I have a few ideas for you on how to accomplish it. Because you were talking about the die cutter, they cut the lanyards. I think I might have a way to do it that you don't have to. You can go with the same card and not actually have to have any holes cut in it. So we can get together on if you want.
Okay. So that was one. Definitely, this is a big one from what we heard. To actually have ERRF swag at the show. Hats. We're hearing, T-shirts, obviously, but we're also hearing people want hats and mugs and maybe more. So, and this year that was a finance thing. It cost several $1,000s to get a couple hundred shirts, and truth be told, we didn't have the cash to outlay for that. Next year, we should have some money up front, so that should be able to be done. A lot of this
Chris, you
stuff
might
is.
want to talk to Matt over at Printed Solid. Talk to Matt Gordon. I think he has a buddy in a shirt business.
Yes, he does, and that's a good point. Better scheduled giveaways. And of course, the biggest complaint we had was, put a better gap in the middle of the exhibitor rows so people can get out to the end of the rows without having to walk to the end of the rows. But otherwise, I don't see anything groundbreaking. Actually, one of the guys at Printed Solid, Alex, I'm not sure if anybody remembers meeting Alex over at the Printed Solid booth. He does battle bots, but he does the Ant class battle bots, which are small. Dave Randolph, if you're still in the chat, what's the size of the Ant class battle bots? I think they're less than like 6-inch diameter. It's really like a weight thing. But those are mostly all 3D printed from what I understand, other than the electronics. And Alex was like, hey, that would be really cool if we could have a little Antbot arena. Okay, so Dave Randolph is saying under £1. But they're apparently heavily 3D printed. His are mostly 3D printed. That could be neat. And then, the 3D printed derby, we're getting a lot of requests for some stratas in the derby. I guess some of the adults are feeling bad. They don't want to take trophies away from kids, and suggested, hey, there should be an adult class and a kid class. And we've also had people say, hey, how about an unlimited class? So that's something that we're going to consider as well, and maybe have the track running Saturday and Sunday next year instead of just the one day. But outside of that, unless somebody comes up with some ideas of something new or different, or a different twist, I think we have pretty much a format that we're going to stick with, we're comfortable with. But again, we'll always be looking for refinement. So if somebody's got ideas, don't be bashful.
I do have one idea.
Go ahead, Joe Mark.
Oh, sorry. So on the derby note, I think it would be cool to do something like you did with the logo, and have people print parts of the track, and then see if you can get Guinness to come out and then classify as the world's largest 3D printed Pinewood Derby.
Lauren pointed out in our team calls that actually this wasn't even at the calls, it was sidebar conversations at the event. She said, I think we have a record here in the fastest 3D printed Pinewood Derby car. And then she started walking through the next. Well, wait a second. The whole race is so. We have that thought. We have to do some homework. I know for it to be an official Guinness World Record, you have to register with them. They're going to have to agree to what you're pitching them, and then they have to send out a representative to witness your thing, your spectacle happen. So we are going to look into it because it would be cool to have a world record. We were thinking about a Guinness World Record in the earliest thoughts of ERRF, in the very early days, even before we came up with the Pinewood Derby idea. And we're going to try to have the most 3D printed printers running in one place. But Prusa screwed that up for us. We'll never compete with that. So that is what it is. So, but no, Joe, I like your instinct there. We would like to have a Guinness record, and we're going to go for it with the Derby next year.
That'd be pretty cool. What I was going to say, John Mack had said in the chat about, we were talking about the name tags. He said about just having a spot for people to write their name. And the idea that I have in mind actually would have that spot, and then a 3D printed option, like a template for it, basically, that would go over top of that if you chose to print one out. So you could either write it on with a Sharpie or 3D print something unique for your name tag. So, Chris, did you have anything else as far as future ideas for the next ERRF? I didn't want to cut you off if you had anything else.
Not really. Nothing really else is coming to mind unless people have questions. But
yeah, we're watching the chat. So if anybody has questions, and post it in the chat, and we'll be sure to ask Chris. I don't know if Vicky's joining in. It's getting kind of late for her to join in, so she probably won't be in tonight. Did anybody want to hear any stats on this? And I also have all the winners here in front of me for the different contests and everything. A few that I actually forgot to mention when I was driving.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, the logo, as I've been posting for the last month, is 152 individual pieces. Most of them, all of the ones in the center, are 125 by 125 millimeters square, with the tallest height being 50 millimeters, with the exception of Marteinn's part, because of adding the landscape in. That added some. Marteinn had to be special and stand out amongst the crowd, so his part's slightly taller than everybody else's. So it's 152 pieces, printed in less than a month by 45 individual people. So we had 45 contributors to the logo. That was a question that I had gotten during the live stream once we had gotten it together. And for those of you who weren't aware that were watching my live stream at ERRF, my wife Jen was managing the chat, relaying stuff to me and Marteinn as people were talking to us. So I would like to say thank you to my wife for doing that. She was a huge help. She did a lot of talking, showing people Marteinn's landscapes, telling them about the contests that we were doing, and telling them about the Friday night hangouts. She watches enough of it and hears me talk about the hangouts enough, so she's pretty well educated on the streams. Oh, Mike, your missing piece was laying in my basement, which it is. Yeah, you can see it up here. It is up there. As soon as I got the logo home, I popped that piece in. We do have one piece yet that we're waiting on. So what I did is at ERRF, I very quickly printed 2 pieces. Clayton, or Uncle Jesse, forgot his part at home. So I printed this one so that we could continue building. And it's just, we glued everything around it. And it just pops in there for now. He's going to send me his part so that it's still completely, you know, he's got his piece in the community build, and to kind of keep that whole community build idea. Mike's piece, NLTMW in the chat, I did the same thing for his piece. I printed one really quickly. I had the parts printing in an hour and a half each. So I did the same thing with Mike's, and then as soon as I got home, I was able to put glue on his and glue his in place and take my temporary piece out. So prizes. I'm going to run through them all real quick because I know I said some while I was driving, but I didn't say them all. So the heaviest single part was printed by Jim Franks, and that part was 9.2 ounces. It's actually this piece up here. 9.2 ounces. It was coordinate X13Y8. So Jim won the $50 Protopasta store credit. John Mack had the most printed pieces with 16 printed parts. Mike, NLTMW, Chris from Today's 3D Print, Neary's, had 13 pieces. Dustin the Japman had 8 pieces in the logo. And I might have said it already, John Mack had a total of 16. So he got a $50 Protopasta store credit as well. Let's see. We had Pooch won the most favorited or most voted for failed print, voted on by the attendees of ERRF. Martin had the which actually Pooch won a roll of the daily PLA from Printed Solid. Sorry. Martin had the most creative part as voted on by the hosts and co-hosts of the Friday night hangouts that were present at ERRF. That was obviously this one here, X14Y6. He won a roll of the Printed Solid daily PLA. Tinkers, or Keith, won one of the giveaways, which was the Matter Hackers Pro PLA. Josh Ajima won the other giveaway or the one giveaway for the Protopasta $50 store credit. Lydia Pena, which I think everybody was telling me is Fernando Pena, sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, his wife. She won one of the Matter Hackers Pro PLA rolls. And Brian Sortson also won one of the Matter Hackers Pro PLAs. Those were the 4 giveaways that we did. And then I didn't get the names of the people who won Martin's landscapes. But again, thank you to Martin for doing his giveaway at our table and showing off his work there. So again, I want to say thank you to Protopasta, Printed Solid, Matter Hackers, and I also thank you to IC3D. They donated a spool of their PLA. I know he was in the chat a little bit ago, the gentleman who picked up Neary's parts in Philadelphia for us. We ended up getting him hooked up with a roll of the IC3D PLA. And we also, the other thing I forgot to mention while I was driving, Pooch and Travis had approached me prior to ERRF about the rep box. We were supposed to have one on display, but they were so busy talking to people and talking up their product with their product launch at ERRF that they weren't able to actually get our box put together to be on display at our table until closer to the end of ERRF. But with showing that, what we got to do was give away that box at the end of the show. And the whole time I was thinking, you know, we've got a lot of giveaways. I wanted to come up with something different to do. So it was kind of last minute on Saturday that I had decided to do a Best in Show award from the Friday Night 3D Printing Community Hangout. And the recipient of that award this year at ERRF was Paul, and he had a liquid handling CNC that he converted to a 3D printer. That was pretty cool in itself. It was a closed loop system, so like he could actually take and the hot end was on this really long linear arm, and he could actually take and smack that arm, and it would just it would stop printing and it would bounce back in place and start printing again as soon as it steadied out. So it had showed a good example of what closed loop control can do. And then the other thing, as I was talking to Paul while I was doing the walkarounds on the live stream, found out that the plugin that I had just found out about on Octoprint called Cancel Print or Cancel Object, I'm sorry. Paul is actually the developer of Cancel Object. So for the thing that really caught my eye with that and tagged him as the winner of the Best in Show from the Friday Night Hangouts was Cancel Object plugin for Octoprint, which he was demoing as well. When he'd smack the hot end and it would come back in place and start printing again, and then he'd go on to the laptop then and demonstrate how Cancel Object works. So that was everything from the Friday Night Hangout. The one thing I don't have yet is the total weight of the logo. I have to get that yet. The logo actually has been sitting over on the side in my basement, giving the glue a chance to fully cure before I moved it. And tonight's actually the first I moved it. As soon as I got home, I brought it over here and stuck it up on the back of the couch so that I could be on the stream tonight. So from me to everyone who contributed to the logo, everyone who entered the giveaways, and to the event planners of ERRF, on behalf of the Friday Night Hangouts, I'd like to say thank you again to all of you. You guys have no idea how happy I have been this past weekend for the contributions of everybody, for helping out and submitting parts, everything. I can't say it enough. Thank you very, very much.
We're happy you had fun, man.
It was a blast. Like I said, I still haven't come off of
it. You're still visibly glowing. You look like, the kid coming out of the candy store. So that's awesome, dude. That warms my heart. I know it makes Vicky, Nick, and Lauren happy too. So it's neat to do that. So we're just all pumped that everybody's pumped.
Yeah, I'm gonna read out quick the names of the landscape winners. One was Juan. It's like a Mexican name, and I'm sorry I can't read out the last name. Then there was John Briggs, the Greybeard 3D. And there was Brookie Marson, and she was the lady that was working with maps, and I talked quite a long time with. And then Jeff Slater and Ricky Kellyson, something like that. I'm terrible with the names, but that were the names that I wrote down of the winners. So it was like 6 giveaways that I had planned out to give out by the drawings, and one person that got his name called up on the PA system, and I have to thank Nick for shouting out the names over the PA system. It helped me a lot on finding the winners. But one people that got his name drawn out, they weren't at the show at the time of drawing. So I had one remaining landscape, and I gave that one to Chris Riley. But then again, I had 6 other printed landscapes that I had like names in my head before the show to give out. So in total, I gave out 12 paintings, and my suitcase going out to the state was pretty full of maker coins and the landscape models. And when I got back, the suitcase was full of 3D models and stickers and all the filament. I think I got like 15 rolls of filament here on the table in total. So there was a lot of filament that I brought over.
Martin said about Ricky K. I forget last name off the top of my head. He actually watches the streams, and I got to talk to him about this red and black part that I'm showing on the camera now, and how he made that. And at first, I thought it was just infill, but he actually went in and was modifying G code and stuff. He did that with, I think he said either Slicer or Cura. That was actually the runner-up for the most creative part, voted on by the hosts and co-hosts, which is kind of funny because it's right there beside Martin's too.
Yeah, that tile was awesome, and also the hexagon black and yellow tile, that was looking super cool. This one was absolutely, yeah, that one.
So the other question too people had about the logo, the logo is going to end up going over there on my wall. I have to rearrange my entire office because it's about 2 inches too tall to go where it was going to go. So I have to modify a cabinet and lower the tabletop to be able to put it where I wanted to. And then what's going to end up happening is the logo will travel to different events. It'll be back to ERRF next year. Probably won't make it to New York Maker Faire, but planning on hopefully taking it out to Murph next year and setting it up. So it'll be around. So if you didn't get to see it in person, it'll be different places.
Yeah, it was an honor for me to be able to take part of the assembly. It was a great puzzle to align every part, because there was like 10 or 15 parts that didn't have their coordinates on. So it was quite a challenge to arrange everything and get the rotation of every part. But it was great fun, and spending that Saturday morning with you, Matt, doing the logo, it was one of the highlights for me for the trip. So I was really happy to be able to help out.
Yeah. John from You Do It. John wants us to make the logo our headboard for our bed.
Come on, man.
I'll tell you what, I have been so tempted to just take it up there and take a picture and post it on Twitter.
Oh, dude, if it's not going to break apart, yeah, definitely do it.
Well,
act like it's your headboard.
To get it over here on the couch, I carried it over by myself. It's actually, even though we ended up using super glue and not the weld-on number 4 that I had planned to use, it's actually pretty stable. But I do have some plans of, there is a section over here that I want to take back apart and just adjust it, because somehow one side started to curve. It's funny, you know, this thing's 3D printed and you hear people talking about parts warping on the bed, and the logo warped as we were building it. It started to get a curl on the one side, and at some point I realized what was going on, and I just started, I dropped the pieces back down to the table. So over in here, there's a raised section that you really can't see, but I'll probably use some super glue deactivator, take it apart and fix that section. But then the whole back's going to get coated, most likely with like an clear epoxy coating, because I want to protect the all the names and people's signatures, stickers, everything on the back of it. Some people put what printer, what filament. I want to protect all that. I don't want to cover it up. I know a lot of people were saying about using a backer board, but I want to keep that all visible. So that's kind of the plans with the logo as it stands now.
How much does it weigh?
I don't know yet. I haven't gotten it on a scale yet. I came home from ERRF and went on call, and I'll be on call until Monday morning. So next week I'll get a total weight on it and post that on Twitter, and I can report back at during the next stream.
Yeah, and Mitch has joined in, and maybe Mitch, you do your intro and And since we are closing to the 2-hour mark, maybe just do the intro and outro, and, and we'll start doing outros soon.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I'll start. Hi, I'm Mitch. I'm Mitch 3D. My YouTube channel, and at the Mitch22 on the Twitters and Instagram and whatever else I'm on. I was at ERRF and Murph. I was the backpack 3D printer person, and currently I'm fixing a friend's CR10 behind the camera, and gonna see if it works. So, but I also run the Dallas Makerspace 3D Fab committee. So we just had a meeting about our rules and everything. Yep, I got a lot of things going on. So that's my intro and outro.
Yeah, thanks. I saw the video you posted in the chat somewhere about your Makerspace. It looks awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna almost double the size, if not more, in the coming months. So.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it was great meeting you. You got a pretty good acknowledgement on Tom's channel on Murph. He did an interview with you, and now you're like the backpack kid, but the backpack printer kid.
Yeah. Well, it definitely. I mean, the amount of publicity I got from that, and just that now that I'm recognition from that, like I'm definitely motivated to continue that project and just make it better and better. You know, we've been throwing around today. We're just throwing around stuff like, you know, putting the printer belt on my back and have it just print stuff as I'm walking around the convention that gets like thrown on the floor or something, or I don't know, like a little basket. We've also
would be
we've had some other
3D
ideas.
prints as you walk.
Yeah, exactly. I've thought about like putting a K40 laser cutter on my backpack, you know, like my back, and have like a full size laser cutter or CNC mill, like one of those little mini CNC mills, and have the dust just trailing behind me. No, it's the limitation still the batteries. Like if I can't have the batteries last more than a couple hours, like, you know, I can't really run anything that long.
I had to laugh. Somebody's walk around video that I was watching from ERRF. They're walking around, you know, saying hey to Walter, and, hey to Ryan and stuff. And next thing you know, they turn around and I hear him say on the camera, and I forget whose video it was, but they go, "Is that a backpack printer?" And Mitch turned around.
Yeah, I do that look like, huh? Yeah. No, it's true, because I'll hear people talking about it behind me, and then I like have to look around. But I've gotten the pose, you know, where you just kind of look around and, you know. So it's fun. It's a pretty cool social thing too. Like you kind of get that interaction where it's not just you, it's you and the printer on the back. Like, I don't know, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation starter. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I was looking at your CR10 behind you. It comes with a blue strip or the orange strip, right? Or they all come with one or the other?
Yeah, mine has blue strips. It was an option to order with orange or blue, and
I just thought everybody removed them. Like,
yeah, I put them on just to have a look how it's turned out, and it's okay. So
Hey, Martin.
Yeah.
You should have got it alternating orange and blue.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be your corners, Walter.
Wait, why would he do? Oh.
Yeah,
if anyone wants it, I'm not using it. I think I've got it over in my
Well, you can actually print those strips, I'm sure. You can just 3D print them.
Oh, why print it when Joe can give it? Because I ain't using it. I got a whole
oh, nice.
roll still from my CR10 that I never put on. If anyone wants it.
Ship it to Marteinn, we're going to have to see it.
There you go, Martin. Martin can now have a Gator CR10.
Go Gators!
Yeah, send it over. Send it through the interweb. All right.
Okay, you ready, Martin? Here it comes.
My face.
Joe Mike's like 4K cameras ruined.
That didn't work.
Yeah, I got it. It just didn't on the floor. I didn't catch it. Yeah, but I think we'll just continue with the outros, and I'll continue with John.
I'm John with How I Do It, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how you do it. So, I'm a maker. I'm a creator. I do a bunch of stuff. If you want to learn more about me, you can look me up on Twitter. That's where you will find pretty much an instant response. You_do_it. On Instagram, I'm you.do.it. And I also have a website, youdoit.tv. I'll put the link in the chat. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for hosting, Martin.
Yeah, thank you. And next up is Matthew. Matt.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt from How I Do It, which has kind of been lacking besides some live streams, which I plan on doing more live streams here in the near future with some projects. I do anything. Basically, my channel is just showing you how I go about doing things. Not saying it's necessarily the right way sometimes or the best way, but it's my way. And I organize the Friday night hangouts and make sure these happen every other week.
Yeah, awesome. On Walter Country Club, Europe.
Hi, I'm Walter from Country 3D, and I've been lacking on live streams myself. I hardly ever get on here anymore. I hate it. Maybe I'll try to do that more often, like Matt said. No, you can catch us right now. You can catch me 8 to 10 Eastern time every morning. YouTube.com/Country3D. On Twitter, it's @Country3D. And on Facebook, it's /Country3D. And it's country3d.com. And that's KUNTRY 3D. And this is my lovely wife, Regina, the better half of Country 3D. She's going to start joining me on Saturdays and Sundays if I can get her out of bed for our live streams, because people tend to enjoy it more when she's here. So, I wonder why. But anyway, that's where you can catch me. Y'all come see me. Join in the country club. Joe Mike Terranell, I don't want to hear nothing from you, man.
Yeah, thank you. But Joe Mike is next, so he has an option to.
Well, I guess you get to hear from me. Ha ha. Whatever. I love you.
Love you, Joe Mike. Love you, Joe Mike.
Well, Joe Mike, that's my name. Hi, Joe Mike Terranella from Joe Mike Terranella channel. I really should like get an actual name, because that's like really long, first off, and second, it's not a cool name like 3DP Iceland or, you know, You Do It or any of that stuff. It's just my name, and it's kind of like, well, there that is.
You can make it called you can call it I Did It.
I did it. It wasn't me is what mine would be. Anyway, so I'm on Twitter as Mojike. I will be shooting, finally getting back into the actual shooting since I've got all my crap set up finally. This weekend, if I can not drop it, the official MakerBox unboxing video for this past month's MakerBox. Thought I'd give you guys the preview. Probably have already seen it.
No spoilers.
No spoiler. No spoiler. Because I know some of you do the duels, but this did come in it. So I got my MakerBox shirt. It's a medium, old school Gildan tee. So I'll be donning this as I do my video, which reminds me I should probably take the wrinkles out of it. But yeah, other than that, there's some really neat filament in here that I can't wait to talk about, get printing, and see how we go. I am thinking about changing up the Maker coin though, or changing up my print. So if you guys have any recommendations of what I should print with these samples, back when I was doing this with Nick, he was just having me print the MakerBox coin to demonstrate the filaments, but you know, it's now in printed solid. So if you know, if David, if you want to say, you know, something, or if Matt wants to chime in at some point, you know, or if, you know, I could print my 3D printer maker coin or a Benchy or whatever, you know, could print a small shield. So, I mean, at this point, it's kind of open up. It's a new season of the MakerBox, and yeah, I don't have to keep printing the same coins, or if it should be something like maybe I print different things with each filament. I don't know, but always open for suggestions for that at this point.
Yeah, thanks. Ryan, are you there or are you off camera?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. I've been fussing with this printer.
Like always.
I'm Geek Tech. The name is simple. G33K T3CH. It's the same on every platform. I'm a maker. I'm going to be doing more 3D printing stuff now that my 3D printers are working, which is good. I'm also going to be trying to kick out a big project every week or two, kind of along the lines of making in general. The current project I'm working on is something for like a memory thing for ERRF 2018. I'm going to use all the wonderful maker coins that I picked up while I was there to make something pretty neat. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I mean, if you're interested in maker stuff or 3D printing, or you want to sit there and listen to me ramble for 20 to 35 minutes at random, I'm good for that too. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. And Chris, you're up for an outro.
Hey everybody, Chris here at mchrisp1 on the Twitter. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming out to ERRF. Laura, Nick, Vicky, and I had a lot of fun putting it together. We're very, very pleased that we brought many of you good times, happy memories, and smiles. We wish the weather could have been more like Sunday on Friday and Saturday. Hopefully next year we'll get that right. But thanks everybody for coming out. We really appreciate it. And hey, by the way, watch your emails if you attended, especially if you signed up through Eventbrite. We are going to be sending out some surveys. We'd just like to get some feedback from everybody, and would greatly, greatly appreciate you kicking back your comments to us and letting us know what you think of some things we're looking for feedback on. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And then for me, I'm Marteinn, and you're on my channel, 3DP Iceland, and I'm on Twitter as well as 3DP Iceland. And since you're here on my channel, I would really like if you could give this stream a thumbs up and maybe a subscribe on my channel. I'm collecting subscribers, aiming for the golden 1,000 subscribers, and gonna make huge amounts of money on the channel when I got 1,000 subscribers. I'll be rich immediately, so I need a few more. But I'm doing landscape prints mostly on my channel, and filament reviews, and testing out all the MakerBox samples as well. I do like unboxing video of everything I get related to 3D printing on my YouTube channel. I test out a lot of stuff that I do, and do some project video and printing, both just trinkets and also functional items, some Fusion 360 videos and such. So I do a lot of things on my channel. So that's me. And now for the 2-hour mark, because Chris is new here, normally after the 2-hour mark, the subjects tend to go go in whatever direction. We don't necessarily have to stay on topic. So whatever you have to say, want to talk about, it's like an open floor. So
Boobies.
Yeah, boobies.
It just hit. It just literally hit 11 right here.
Yeah. So the floor is open for chat, and we can hang around as much as you stay awake.
But add on what Martin said about subscribing and liking his channel. If for nothing else, just the dedication. Martin's up in the middle of the night. It's 4 a.m. for Martin now. He gets on and starts streaming with us at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. So just even for that alone, give him a thumbs up for sure on the video. He deserves it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is. It starts at 2 o'clock a.m. for me, the streams. So it's like an all-nighter for me to stay up.
Oh, sorry. I'm coming off of work, so it's Martin, thank you for hosting tonight, and again, thank you for your help putting that thing together. Can't say that enough.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I really enjoyed taking part of it. It was a good travel story for me to come home and tell people what I was doing, and it was, yeah, my honor also to take part of it.
So, Joe, Mike, what's the one thing you saw on streams and tweets and everything that you wished you got to see in person at ERRF?
Mainly people. There were a lot of people that I haven't met in person yet. Like, I haven't met Clayton, like Uncle Jesse. I haven't met him in person. I really wish I could have been there and, met him. More or less is just hanging out with everybody. That's the thing that I always love about Murph the most, is just being able to get together and just hang out. So
abuse some droids, maybe.
Yeah, abuse droids. Wear other people's sweet helmets. Whatever the night brings. But that's the fun of it. Is just that you kind of just go with the flow. You're around people who have the same passions and interests as you, and you can either geek out over technology, or you can, grab a drink and just talk about life in general. It's a community thing that I love. I mean, I think that we're built for community, and when we have events like that, it's our coming together. It's like a family reunion. So when you miss it, you really miss it, and that's how I feel about it, at least. So,
hey, Joe, Mike, it's
yeah.
like a family reunion where you like all the family.
Maybe. Most of the family.
If you've got an opportunity to get to Murph or get to ERRF, get to them both. And I'm sure if there's a West Coast one born out of all this, get to the West Coast one too. Seeing everybody is the coolest part about it. I mean, I got to run around on Sunday and see stuff, and got to help Ryan get his printer running. I was printing parts for his printer. So, I mean, the true meaning of the Rep Rap Festival came out in ERRF. It wasn't just meeting everybody, but that's the best part of it, is getting to see everybody and meet people we haven't met yet.
And we also had printers that were actually almost fully printed. Like, that's pretty awesome. There's like 3 of them there that were like mostly printed printers. Which,
I gotta laugh. Like, Walter, you started something with that, because I don't know for sure if you were the first one to do a fully, or what is it, 95% fully 3D printed printer, but a year ago, you know, we always had the question pop up in chat, and I see it in other people's streams. People in the chat always ask about whether you could 3D print a printer, and you guys are proving that, yeah, it's absolutely possible, and you can print some massive printers that way.
That was actually the first question I asked when I got a 3D printer. Hey, can I print a 3D printer? So that's where my first one came from that went to Murph. I just tried it, you know. And then, of course, everybody saw it, and now everybody expects me to print printers. So that's why the Hypercube came about. Yeah, and James from Print and Play. His custom design, print in place on a CR10 bed printed printer is friggin' awesome. You know,
yeah, he designed his from scratch.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool, and it just goes to show, you know, what you can do, man. Just do it. Just try it. If you fail, guess what? Fix it and try again.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, John Mack saying he has 2 that are copycat and 1 more on its way. And his 3D printed printer, they were amazing. They were like in all kind of colors. And he told me he just grabbed the leftover filaments and printed part of an extrusion, and then the next part and next part. And it was like all colors of the rainbow. So that was really, really neat.
Oh, I have an estimated weight on the logo, and I guess we'll see if I'm close. 46.5 pounds is what I came up with as an estimated, based on all the weights that we did. Because the first thing Martin and I did before we started gluing things together was weight all the pieces. So the logo is probably somewhere right around 45 to 46 pounds, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, it was surprisingly not that heavy when we took it out to the table. I thought it would be much heavier.
So did I. And it handled the transportation over to the car and into our Explorer and everything very well.
Yeah, and the glue held up. It was quite difficult to get that parts separated that got glued in a different way on the corner there.
Chris was saying about weapons, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I was using my pocket knife to separate pieces.
Yeah, the hammer.
Leave it to me to be the one getting in trouble.
So like that's an interesting problem you have, is when you start printing a large object and then you assemble it and then you're like, wait, how am I going to transport this or even get it out of my house or apartment? Like
I had 1 inch to spare in my Explorer. We had the seats folded down and it fit by 1 inch in the length of our Explorer.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, I do got one announcement for next year. Sean from IC3D, he did the hooch table for this year at ERRF. And for next year, we're going to do a community build of a 6-foot tall soldier's cross that we then donate to a local VFW. So y'all be on the lookout for that. We're sourcing a model now, and we're gonna make it a 6-foot tall soldier's cross. You know, the boots, the rifle, the helmet in the cross shape of a memorial, and then donate that to a local VFW to give away.
Country, the VFW is less than a quarter of a mile from my house.
That's awesome, Chris. We can, like I said, we want to do it, and we want to have it on display at the show. But if we could probably get them there on Sunday, and you know, give it to them there on Sunday, I think that would be really cool for all the veterans, because you know, I wore my veterans hat on one day, I think it was Friday, and there are so many veterans that actually are represented in that group that it's just really cool. And I think it's a really cool idea.
No, it's the first time hearing that, and I love it, Walt. I think that's great. That's cool.
Oh, I 100% support that idea.
I 100% volunteer to split the pieces up, but I'm not managing it.
And then, hey, on a separate note, we were talking before, people were asking about, other events that are spinning up, and you keep hearing WERF for West Coast, but one that sounds like it's extremely, extremely likely is a UK Rep Fest. Rich Rap, Richard Horn, I think is his last name. It looks like he's, after seeing ERRF, it looks like he might be working with the crew over there to get a UK Rep Festival going. So, Marteinn, that's definitely a shorter trip for you and Kat. Hopefully we'll see you there. And then all of us stateside folks, if you want to make it to a UK Rep Fest, get your passports in order.
Yeah, that would be quite easier trip for me to go to UK. I was thinking like I would go to ERRF this year and MURF next year and maybe ERRF the year after. I really can't go to the States 2 times a year. It's too expensive for me.
Yeah, we just have to make sure they don't call it ERRF too, the England Rep Fest. I'm gonna Dave, I'm gonna take your line. I'm gonna make them sound like a defunct communist country and call it the UK ERRF.
Make it QUERF, the Queen's Rep Fest.
QUERF.
Well, the Queen's Rep Fest, unfortunately, could be short-lived. I read an article today about all the intense plans they have in place for, unfortunately, when the Queen leaves us, because she's 92 now,
Oh, she's not leaving ever.
Yes, she will outlive them all, all the royal family.
Well, I'm going to have to sign off, guys. I am dozing. I appreciate everything that went on, all the effort that went in. I told you I'd try to help when I could, Chris. And so, I'll do my part with the videos. I do have some work I'm doing, so I'm rather busy this weekend. But I'll see what I can do, and I will keep everybody updated on what's going on with the videos so that everybody knows.
Hey, John, if you need any help doing editing or anything like that, hit me up, all right?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
right, people.
Thanks for joining. See you
Yeah,
later.
thanks for hosting, Martin. All right, bye now.
Hey, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna pull a page out of Johnny's book as well. I'm gonna get out of here. It's been a long day for me. Not as long as it's been for you, Marteinn.
Yeah.
I won't try to say I've got chibi, but I am done. But I want to say thank you for letting me in. Thank you for letting me talk with everybody tonight, and look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
Yeah, thanks for explaining everything on the planner's side, and thank you for creating this event. It was an awesome event, and so I think everybody was really happy.
Well,
so thanks for joining in.
Thank you all, everybody out there, for coming, and stay tuned for 2019.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye, all.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Night, Mitch.
Night. Yeah.
Yeah, Walter, what the mic that you were having with the interview when you did the slice engineering interview, was the mic that you connected to your GoPro, or what mic was it?
No, it was not. That was it was a Zoom H1 voice recorder, and I had to line up the audio, and I tried to get it as close as possible. I think I got it pretty close.
Yeah, okay, cool. I was wondering because you got really good audio on that video, and I was struggling. I had like a shotgun mic on my camera, and I got so much background noise, and it was terrible, basically. So,
yeah, no, actually, I think I got a video coming out tomorrow that I did half of the interview with just the GoPro, and I go, oh crap, I've got the Zoom. Hold on, let's do this all over again. So we did the whole interview all over again.
Yeah, okay.
That's one thing I got to do. I got to get a better mic for events because That's why I didn't go around and shoot much video besides the interview with Paul and when we gave him the award, because my audio's on camera audio right now, unless I got the laptop.
Yeah, I tell you, the Zoom H1 I got, it's just one of those little, like you sit in a lecture hall, you know, and record the audio. And I got a wireless mic to plug into it, but I found it's just as easy just to use that as it is to use that wireless mic.
Walter, what do you use to do your video editing?
I use Pinnacle Studio.
Okay.
I've had it, and because I've had it since like version 5, they're on like version 21, but I've had it forever. So.
Mitch, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm leveling the bed, and the CR10 is really loud. The fan on the CR10 is really loud. The power supply is really loud.
Okay.
I don't know why you guys like these printers, but
I thought you were sticking a piece of paper in the paper shredder and then changing your mind and then changing it back again and changing it again.
I mean, that's pretty much what a CR10 is. It seems like it's a glorified paper shredder.
Walter, with your audio, you said about syncing it up. I don't know if Pinnacle has it or not, but I use Premiere, and it can take the on-camera audio and your recording audio, like from your H1, and automatically do the lineup for you.
Yeah.
By syncing the two. But the other trick too, if you don't have that ability with Pinnacle, when you start recording, start the recorder, start the camera, and then clap in front of both of them.
Yeah, the cool thing with Studio is you can do an overlay of the audio track.
Okay, so you can line up the waveform.
Yeah, you can line up the wavepoints pretty much dead on. And like I said, it was close. I kind of threw the slice engineering together. But the one that I did, it's my longest one by far, was the MMU2 with Shane from Prusa.
Okay.
And I don't know if y'all saw what that butthead put out after the thing, right? Did you see his video that he put out? I don't know if you follow him or not.
I didn't see it.
Because I told him that he needed to give me that MMU2 when he left, right? He said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot a video of me wrapping it, sticking it in my bag, and then flipping you off. So, I mean, it was like before he got home, he showed wrapping it, putting it in his bag, and then flipping me off. It was hilarious. Hey, I will tell you though, it was. I think people enjoyed you live streaming because we were kind of offset from each other,
right?
So they would watch people go from my stream into your stream, so they knew we were both live. They thought it was kind of like surveillance video.
Yeah, I've heard a number of people comment about that. Joe Mike, Robbie Mack wants to know what wireless headset you're using. Because you don't have your AirPods in tonight.
This is a Corsair Void. That's all there is. Corsair Void, and normally the microphone works, but right now it's not. So I'm using my wireless lav that actually has a USB receiver. And that's what I usually use when I don't want to wear the big cuff. But yeah, this is a good set of headphones. Horsehair Void. Oh, that's sad because it's going to be true.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Genetics, kids. There's no escape.
Yeah, did you see the Matt, obviously you tweeted it out, the Angus video on the puzzle.
Yeah.
That was cool. He said in the last part of the video he would love to see the puzzle with a terrain model on top of it. And when I saw Matt's tweet and I had to look at the video, I hadn't seen the video until I got the tweet, and I thought, man, this is something I have to do. And I've been printing out on the just so it's not fused together. I might have to adjust the tolerances because I started at 2 layer heights, and in the video he talked about doing it with like maybe 1.5, but yeah, it seems to be loose. But you can see it here. This is like it's the puzzle.
Nice.
I did the landscape on top of it. So I'm gonna tweet this out and tag Angus and say challenge accepted and already there. so
Are you planning on painting it, Martin?
Yeah, I want to paint it and then take a picture of it, and I have to get some parts of it a little bit stuck, but maybe I have to take a hammer to it. But yeah, there are a few parts here that are a bit stuck, but I have to work on it. But that was cool to see that, and like he mentioned, he would love to see a topo map on a puzzle, and I was thinking, who is doing that? And that's me, this guy.
You know what you got to do now, Martin. So once you post it, you got to put the name of the area so that when Angus does a follow-up video, he has to try to pronounce the name of the area.
Yeah. Skaftafell, that's the area. And yeah, but it's
this is a puzzle of what?
Robbie Mac just posted in the chat. So now not only can people not pronounce the name, but they also cannot solve the puzzle either.
Yeah, I've started to move the pieces, and it's going to be a challenge to get everything in correct place. It's a challenge to get this puzzle just if they have numbers on it. I think they're like a corner pieces. 2 corner pieces are a little bit stuck. I have to use a hammer to get it done stuck.
Did you see his way on his video to get him unstuck, right?
Yeah, throw it in the floor.
Throw it on the floor.
yeah. I'm not gonna wake up my wife doing that at the moment. Yeah, but it's
I just
cool.
couldn't believe how quickly you posted the picture of the model. That was really cool.
Yeah, it took me maybe a half an hour to just prepare it, and when I saw a tweet, I just immediately started to work on it and merged the model and the landscape model in Mesh Mixer. So it was not too difficult, but I had to cut out the landscape models. So I used the Fusion 360 file because I'm a Patreon of Angus, so I got access to the Fusion 360 file and used that as a template to cut down the tiles the correct size. So it wasn't too much trouble to prepare the model. So and it was just finishing. So it's cool. Yeah, don't you love the bed leveling mitts on the CR10? No,
This needs like not only that, but like he at least printed the large adjuster so you get more control over it. But it's weird. It's well, not only that, but the end stop is on like a bracket that's barely attached to the frame, like so that thing actually pivots if you don't have it tight.
Is that a CR10 or CR10S?
Just a CR10.
Just regular CR10, so it's got the old board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Melzi board.
Yeah.
And actually, touch on. Well, it's not a Melzi. It's something similar, but it's I actually watched Chris Riley's video to how to upload the firmware using the Arduino as a bootloader. So, shout out to Chris for that.
He lives like 5 minutes away from me, and I've yet to meet him.
Oh, hey, Joe Mike, I'm going to be in Kansas City next week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We're going to have barbecue again.
We could do barbecue or we could do pokey.
What's pokey?
Do you like sushi?
Oh, yes.
Pokey is basically sushi, but in a bowl.
That sounds amazing.
It is flipping amazing. I had it for the first time when I was out in San Diego, and when we got back, they had just opened up a new poke place here in Kansas City, which was kind of weird since our proximity to oceans is, well, we don't really have proximity to ocean. But it was really stinking good. So yeah, it's down on the River City Market.
I was kind of thinking as you were saying that Kansas City is kind of like as far away from the origin of sushi as you can get.
Yeah, they actually they have their fish overnighted in from the West Coast. So it's pretty much it's caught and shipped and then it's served. So it's as fresh as you'll get in KC.
Tony Ryan said, "Never trust Midwestern sushi. It most likely started out with hooves."
Whatever, Tony. Now maybe
Actually,
maybe high V sushi.
Oh man, Wagyu beef, Kobe beef, like real Wagyu beef. It's so good.
Yeah, I personally don't like sushi so much, but I've heard a lot of tourists coming to Iceland to have sushi, and they told people that sushi in Iceland is the best sushi they ever had, because we have a really active fishery system and the fish is really fresh. So if you want
the sushi in Japan,
yeah, we had comments from people in Japan saying that we have better sushi than in Japan. So if you're a sushi fan, you should come to Iceland and try it out. It's as fresh as you possibly can get.
All right, guys. I want to thank Martin for hosting. I got to get out of here because I got to do coffee in the morning. So we'll see y'all at 8 a.m. Right, Martin?
Yeah, right. No way.
I'll watch it 4 hours afterwards.
Yeah, but thanks for joining you, Walter. It was a pleasure meeting you and Regina. It was absolutely awesome, and especially meeting up with you at the house on Friday.
Hey, yeah, it was great seeing all of you guys. Wish Joe Mike had been there. He could have wore the what you call it helmet again and ran around.
Yeah. Go Gators.
Go Gators. That's right. That's all you got to say. You got me there, Joe Mike. All right, guys. We'll see y'all in the morning for coffee. We're out.
Yeah.
You guys.
Bye.
Night, Walter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Robbie Mack said every damn 3D printing conversation turns to food.
Of course.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're human beings. We eat.
It's just nobody mentioned tacos tonight. That's all.
Yeah. What's
Tacos?
Until now.
Yeah.
Well, I had to fix it.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Tacos.
Earth, we kind of added pit beef to the list of things to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
my trip to Earth started with pit beef and ended with pit beef.
Uh huh.
What was the whole dog bowl place that I kept seeing?
Mitch knows all about that. That was what the heck was the name of it?
It
Naughty
was,
Dog.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
And it was the dog bowl margarita. And I think they used that Beerita stuff.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think they had a can or two of the Beerita, and then they added some other stuff to it. It was gross, but at the time it was great. So also, I think everybody there was sharing it. So I mean, who knows what got passed around there? So
This is why you guys are talking about the sickness that came from Earth.
oh yeah, like I got
Dustin did
the 3D printing sickness from that.
Oh, it comes after every event. It's that what do they call it? Convention sickness
Something, yeah.
or convention flu? I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, the Naughty Dog is the bar that's Saturday night and Sunday, or Friday night. Yeah, Friday night and Saturday night that we all went to.
Friday night wasn't nearly as much fun as Saturday night was.
Yeah, Saturday night was cool because, you know, everybody was exhausted from Earth and the whole day of festivities. And we went out. One, the weather was better too. But we went out and took over the patio, the outside patio. Joe Mike, that's probably not a good idea.
I was checking for a receipt.
Actually, I looked at the Naughty Dog later Sunday, and that bench that E3D picked up and put into the patio area was still sitting there Sunday.
Yeah, when E3D got there, there was no more seats. We had taken all the outside seating up just with people who came from Earth. It was funny because it was just this constant stream. Like Walter was the first one. Walter and Regina were the first ones there. And then Jen and I got there. And like slowly, just one at a time, people started trickling in. E3D got there and there was no seats left over. So they reached over the fence and picked up a bench that was on the other side of the fence and sat it in the patio.
Yeah,
Anarchy in the UK.
yeah, I was so tired after Saturday. I just went to my hotel. My feet were like glowing.
I know next year the Friday night booth is definitely going to have the foam flooring that Midnight Giant had.
Yeah, that was so smart of him to have those soft tiles.
Anti-fatigue mats, man.
Well,
Yeah.
and his were even cool. His were like wood flooring look to them.
Yeah, they were in theme with his castle weaponry setup. It was
He had a pretty cool setup. On topics of things from Earth, Joe Mike, you saw his crate that he had at Murph.
Oh yeah, I saw the setup from Earth too. I saw lots of photos of his.
Dude,
stuff.
that thing was amazing. He was bringing in panels and setting that up, and it fit. I mean, with what he's doing, it definitely fit. That's for sure.
Yeah, he could probably go on tours, doing Comic-Cons and stuff, and just do that forever and be fine.
Yeah, it was like the best of show in my books in regard of the booth they were set up. His booth was really professionally set up, and it was so much fun talking with him. That's awesome meeting him.
Alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna roll out of here. I'm super tired, and I've got apparently fans I have to rewire tomorrow. So
yeah, thanks for joining in and taking part. Awesome to meet you at ERRF.
yeah, bud. Oh man, I had a blast. I cannot wait for next year. I mean, my wife had so much fun, and she's been kind of like extremely more supportive towards like this goal of mine and everything like that. And now she's like, all right, so the next printer's mine, right?
Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
Guys, have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
I'm good to go all night. I took a massive nap because I got sick after eating lunch. So, yeah, who's up for 5 a.m.? Let's keep this.
Yeah,
you know what? I take that.
That's only 30 minutes for me to go.
See, it's obtainable. That's an obtainable goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think this printer is shot.
Did you kill it?
Yeah, it's not extruding. And what he did is he took the original heatsink from the CR10, it looks like, and put an E3D heater block on it, or with a heat break.
He threw an E3D block onto the heat sink, the OEM heat sink. Yes.
So I don't know if there's supposed to be a tube all the way through it or not. Like there's the Bowden tube. Is there a secondary tube inside there?
There should be.
Not a secondary tube inside of it. The PTFE from the Bowden should pass all the way down to the nozzle.
Yeah, that's how it should go. But on the CR10, the heat break usually has the PTFE lined heat break. So I'm wondering if it just pulled up down where the PTFE tube would normally sit in the E3D block. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can't see down there, so
take it apart, Mitch. Take it apart.
No, not mine. Well, it would take me all night, and then I'd fix it.
Burn it with fire, I say.
Yeah, well,
it's not an A-net.
Well, yeah, I mean, this gives me an appreciation for the JG Aurora so far, is that I haven't had too many problems, but I'm still going to put a BL touch on that. But the extruder on it so far has been okay. Knock on wood, but yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm going down the rabbit hole of these cheap Chinese printers, and I don't know if that's the thing I want to be doing.
Yeah, Yeah, I
Yeah.
stopped getting them.
Yeah. Because there's so many other people on YouTube and just in the community that are like, Ender 3, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's cool. $200 printer, I get it. But like, I don't want to personally mess with something that I'm gonna have to spend even more time and money. Like, I don't know. Maybe after you have your fifth printer, you're like, I just want one that works.
Yeah, I've seen people also talking about the Ender 3 is not working so well. The Ender 2s are working better. So I don't know the details, but I've seen comments on
I got an
that.
Ender back there that has yet to print successfully, and I will not even spend another minute on it because it's already, yeah, I'm done with it.
Well, it's hot because I burned my fingers, so I guess it's heating. Like, I have to
Classic
test that.
Mitch.
Yeah. Well, God, this is ridiculous.
How do I
Okay.
test if my hot end's hot? Well,
I mean, you know, if you have blisters on your finger, you know.
Yeah, I've made that mistake putting my finger on a hot nozzle. It's not very nice.
just give it a little.
Oh,
push.
hey, Joe Mike.
Hey,
I
yeah.
have a question.
Uh-huh.
So I bought the ear mold making kit.
Yeah.
Is that the one you have?
For what?
For your earbuds, any of your monitors.
My in-ears?
Yeah.
Oh, my custom ones?
Yeah.
Well, that looks like the kit that I used back when I got my first ones, but the second ones I got done when I went to an audiologist and had them squeeze it in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Radians is the company, but it's a 2-part mixture.
Yep.
And then you mold them and you put them in your ear. And I was gonna just drill a hole and then put my actual Bluetooth earbuds in there.
Yep, that'll work. That's exactly what I did with my first ones.
Okay. So, I mean, they work pretty well, but just the ones that you got done probably worked better.
Well, yeah, the ones that I got done are like, you know, $600, $700 units that I use when I play music on stage.
Yeah.
But when I first started messing with that, that worked great. The thing that you have to you have to cut the mold at the right spot, and I would recommend porting it maybe 2 holes instead of just the 1 hole.
Why is that?
It has something to do with the SPL on the eardrum. So the pressure level on the eardrum, if you have 2 holes, it can actually cycle pressure back, and you got a little bit more space there. But you don't want to just have a single line down because, yeah, it can actually hurt your eardrum.
So you want like a vent hole that goes to the outside, like a
kind of an ambient hole, but you want to be able to. You need a dB cut on the ambient hole, so you could 3D print something that you could plug the hole partially, so that way you couldn't hear outside sound, but it would still allow venting of the pressure. And you can adjust that. Like, I don't have my buds on me, but mine actually have a full cylinder that you can remove and then put back in, and that's the ambient vent. And you can get different cylinders that have different ambient cuts. So if you want to hear the stuff going on around outside of you, you can get one that doesn't cut as much. But either way, it's still able to vent up into that channel, and it releases some of that pressure on the eardrum. That and just having multi-channels coming from the driver helps with sound richness if you do it right.
Wow. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it right. but no, I'll look into that, because if you have any leaks or anything on other people doing it, I'd like to see. This is the cheapest way to replace it without it being like that, because I've lost these buds and I've gone through all the little like rubber tips and the foam tips, and I just wanted something that will actually like fit.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway,
the one thing that I would say is if you're planning on using them while talking a lot, use like a pencil and just put the pencil in your mouth while they're setting. Just go like that.
Oh, so leave your mouth open, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want it like wide open, just like a bite block, just like that.
Because the pressure differential.
What happens is your jaw actually changes the shape of your inner ear a little bit.
Oh yeah.
When your mouth opens. So if you're talking a lot, then you want to have the molds where they set with your mouth open or at least relaxed. Most people have a tendency to clench while they're getting set, and then when they go to play or sing, and they're like breathing out of their mouth or they're mouthing along with the words or they're actually singing, their ears are partially opening up around the seal.
Yeah.
And then, so however you keep your mouth the most time. So if you keep it relaxed, like I don't do much singing. I don't have much facial expression. So I just use like a couple of, what are those things? Q-tips that they had at the audiologist. I just put one in the front teeth, and now it's perfect because my mouth is usually about like this when I play.
Yeah.
Even if my lips are closed, my teeth are partially open on the inside.
Because you're relaxed instead of clenched, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, that's a lot of useful information for anybody who stayed to watch this on the third hour.
Custom ears. You know what would be fun is to use the Moai to actually take the molds you make, scan them, and then
make the whole channel.
Yeah. Well, you could actually do the entire unit and keep it hollowed out, and then just have like that's pretty much how they're doing them now at the actual shops.
So would it be resin or would it still be silicone?
They use resin.
Okay. The actual in-ear would be a resin like mold, or it'd be like a hard resin. It wouldn't be soft.
Yeah. So my ears are solid plastic. Do, I get a mold done and send it off to 1964, which is the company I got them from this time. They do a 3D scan of the mold, put it in the software, and then kind of smooth it out. And then they 3D print the actual shell. They put all the speakers and armature drivers in there with all the electronics, and they pipe them to the holes that go into the very end of it, and then they cover it with a cap with a little wire coming out. So it's all hard plastic, but since it's molded perfectly to my ear, I just pull down my ear and it pops right in.
That's really cool. I guess we have the technology to do that. I mean, I have the scanner and the printer, so
do it.
Attorney Ryan suggested that you don't drill the holes while you're wearing the earplugs.
No, not my intention.
I don't know. Do what you want, Mitch. I mean,
yeah, I don't need to like lose my hearing. That would suck.
Just hear a picture up here. Here's the project that I'm working on for my daughters for a nightlight in their bedroom.
Yeah, I think I shared that picture because it's really cool.
Yeah, I posted it today on Twitter and Instagram. And
is that a 300 by 300 or is that bigger than that?
It's close to 300 by 300. It maxed out the CR10.
That's a single print?
Yep, one single print. The only thing I do need to do is the bridge. The pieces came free from the Gecko Tech for the bridge and snapped off. So I kind of like duct taped them in place while it was printing and kind of saved it. But what I'm going to end up doing is just cutting the bridge off and reprinting it. The light that's under it's just a desk lamp that I flipped upside down and sat it on top. But I'm going to put really cool RGB LEDs inside of it.
Was that printed with your bigger nozzle?
No, that's actually so. When we left Murph, I ended up getting an enclosure from Printed Solid, and originally I was buying one that was in the box, not assembled, and made a deal. I ended up getting the one they had on display, which was already put together, and it had their CR10 inside of it. So their CR10 is currently sitting in my office right now, and I said to Matt when he asked if I'd minded taking it with me and just bringing it down to Printed Solid the next time I come down. I said I'll do that as long as I'm allowed to use it while it's at my house. So I started
taking it for ransom.
Yeah, it was a 60-hour print. I started that on it.
And he's never going back to printed solid ever.
What's that?
I said, and you're never going back to printed solid ever.
No,
So now, yeah.
I just haven't had a chance to get down there.
So I gotta take it down on Monday, hopefully.
I'm trying
now
to get
now that I'm messing with this CR10, I totally understand why having the printed solid CR10. Of course, I don't think they do it anymore, but
yeah, they do.
They did it since
Oh.
when they released the firmware finally, they decided that it went back into compliance.
Yeah, while they weren't, they sold out what they had, and while the whole Marlin firmware issue was going on, they ceased selling it. But then once Creality came around and released the firmware and everything, they started selling them again. But yeah, they're doing their certified CR10s, or as I put it,
I totally understand it now because like.
Well, and the cool part is, if you buy from GearBest or Light in the Box or AliExpress or any of those, you're stuck with any issues you have. You're stuck with it. Printed Solid is selling replacement parts if necessary to the people who bought from them. So, like, I bought mine from them. If I need a power supply fan, because mine is starting to make noise. They all cheap fans.
This one's making noise right
now. But I can, if I wanted to, I could go to Printed Solid and buy a fan from them or the CR10. So that even like the heated beds and stuff like that, they have access to the parts. So if you buy it from them, they're taking care of you.
Yeah. I bought mine from the Light in the Box and had a broken power supply after 4 days. I had, after a month of struggling, I didn't get any positive responses. But finally, when I did the PayPal dispute, telling them I just wanted my money back, and all of a sudden they had a power supply to send me. So it was taking a lot of time to get proper support.
See, at least a US company, you could just mention them on Twitter, and then they'll like immediately respond because they don't want the bad PR.
Yeah,
this is sweet. I just figured out how to go remote with one of my cameras with a really long cable.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're gonna take us in the bathtub and do another thoughts with Joe Mike?
The reason I did it was because when Matt was showing off his latest work, I was going to show off my project that I was doing, and that was my my studio lighting here that I got. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's like a mounted light panel.
Yeah, this guy here. I'm having difficulty.
It's an LED panel. Cool.
Yeah, but like I'm hanging it from my rafters, and so I actually ended up using an aluminum extrusion.
Nice.
That has Nylon X 3D printed ends, and then a Tolman 910 alloy thingy bracket thing. That's
super heavy duty.
Yeah, this is a microphone stand. So this is just a short little microphone stand that just slides into that, and then I've got the power supply for the LED panel up there with 3D printed brackets.
Yeah. So Sean, I think Sean did the one on the 3D printing nerd about his sound blankets. He designed like a sound blanket hangers, but it looks like he's in the basement as well. So you guys with your basements and you can hang things and.
Well, this is what happens when you don't live in Texas.
I know, it's terrible.
I mean, California, quite apparently too. They don't know what basements are.
No.
Where?
California.
Oh yeah.
Travis and Pooch and Chris.
They don't have basements there. But here's the lights on. So both of them are hanging up. Both of them are remote controlled.
Oh, that's fancy.
On a smart plug. And I'm actually getting more smart plugs.
Color temperature?
You can on the back of them. There's two dials to to change the temp of it.
Sounds like an Arduino project. Make a remote control color temperature changer.
Come on, get in there. That's what she said. So, yeah, my next step is I've got a bunch of light bars, like LED shop lights, like that one up there, and that one up there. Those I'm going to put on smart plugs, and then once that's a lot of cabling now. Once it's all said and done, I'll have all of them on smart plugs, and I'll hook them up through Alexa, and then through a routine, I'll be able to say, Alexa, start the studio, and then it'll turn off the light bars and turn on the studio lights.
That's cool. Yeah, I only have one light switch, the TP-Link one, and I use it for my room light, but I was originally going to use it for my printer, and you can have an Octopet program that does that. So, oh my God. People are just handing me drinks now, so. Ooh. Is this Jaeger?
Just drink it.
That didn't sound very good.
So many good stories start that way.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hop off
that
now.
Time of night. I'm gonna fix our CR10 and then not sleep tonight. So I'll hop off too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been a good stream. So thank you guys for joining in, and thank you guys for watching the stream.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. And if you didn't hit thumbs up, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe and push Martin over the 1,000 subscriber mark.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
If you have a secondary account, you can sign into that secondary account and subscribe as well.
Yeah.
That's my trick.
Yeah, to start like a farm of subscribers.
Yeah, I think that's how you get YouTube to look into your account. Of course, everybody else just rips off everybody else's videos. So.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Mitch, you're saying that's how you get YouTube to notice you?
Yeah, it's basically rip off other people's videos. So, but I think you'll actually get like genuine viewership over those copy videos. So. But that's what Barnacles, he did a whole video on that whole change, and that was his point.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyway, thank you, Martin.
Yeah. So thank you guys. I'm gonna end the stream, and thank you for watching and tuning in, everybody in the chat. So I'll see you next time.
See you, everybody.